So my husband and I are in the process of going, well, we're not getting any younger, or are we going to have a baby or not? And we just recently decided that we're shopping for surrogates. So anybody out there, if you're I ain't going to be like anything.
Soft pitch me.
Because that's a woman, you
everything.
shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to sacrifice. And I decided, no, I want to go back to work. I shouldn't have to sacrifice. So I was like, well, bump it. I'm just going to be a daddy then. Be a daddy.
That works. Betty, you have said before that your brain is like a room full of women and they all take turns at the wheel. Is that something you recognize in Debbie? Is that something you're able to bring? And can you talk a little bit about that process?
That weird metaphor is sort of my acting process in a nutshell. And even if it's just to distract me from the boom mic or the person, unwrapping a candy, or the checkpoints in my brain saying this is a bad acting choice, or your voice is too loud in this, you missed your cue, So yeah, I try to think of what women occupy the brain of whatever character I'm playing, and what sentence does which woman have the wheel during. So many prepositions, so little time. And yeah, I think in this season, I think that Debbie tells herself that the stronger, more type A clipboard women are now all at the forefront, and the weaker, more fearful women are fully silenced. And I think that that's an incorrect belief system that she has about herself. I think that, something I notice about my 30s is that you sort of think like, oh, conquered all the demons. I've come so far and I'm ready for the credits to roll. And then you feel the other brain women that you thought you killed a long time ago were like, I still am afraid about this about myself, or I still, I think Debbie is learning to occupy space and be assertive and powerful, but I think she still has this little voice in her head telling her that the things that are most valuable about her are the things that are going to expire, and making little escape hatches, like, oh, you could just marry that rich guy and stop all this vulnerability and space taking, because it doesn't stop being scary. And I think that, her watching people like Ruth, whose self-worth is in a different place than her, is a lesson for her. And me as Betty, watching Allison direct an episode I certainly had a parallel experience of that. Allison is someone who, watching her direct an episode where I thought, I just had this belief system like, okay, I'm an actor, my job is to be flesh puppet number 2, show up off book and have 3 weird ideas and trying to suck it in for the wide shot, and that's your job. Watching Allie direct an episode where it's like her whole life has been her waxing on, waxing off to this moment. Every movie she's ever seen, she can quote or describe the costume or describe the shot. She can perfectly do an imitation of the actor, and I think her brain is so filmic, and seeing her have her clipboard person in her brain and her creative person in her brain hold hands and create something together and take up space in that way, it was the most inspiring thing to me to watch. And it's
Speaking of inspiring, Shauna, the stunts from season to season are incredible, and I have trouble wrapping my head around how they come out from your head and end up on that screen. What is orchestrating all of this look like, and how are you deciding who is doing what?
I think the fun thing about this season was there's so much emotion in all of it, and you got to watch them all grow through their character. So the thing that was nice with the wrestling was it was the catalyst kind of that caused the problems and the tensions to then let them have to deal with them. So especially in 5 when you see them switch characters and play each other, was so much fun. We have Chavo and Helen and I, and we go in and just play, and then we work with Liz and Carly and find out what story they want to tell and what's the most important, and then we just start to see what they're all amazing at and build and build and build, and then let them kind of come in, and it goes from here to then you get the girls in, and it's like through the roof of ideas. You know, it's a collaboration, and it's fun because they all know their characters better than anyone, but then you're playing somebody else, so then they're playing a version of what they think it is, but now they have to learn the other person's skills that may not be their strongest. So now they're having, like, Betty is playing Kia's role in a bit, and then Allie was playing Betty's and theirs when they had to swap. So it was really fun to watch them, you know, learn and play a version of what they thought and had fun with it.
Right. Was there a specific instance of someone taking on someone else's role and performing a move that you thought like really nailed it, and you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they just did that. That's crazy.
I think it happens all through it, but the one that comes out the most would be the Liberty Bell that we nicknamed the Casa de Queso, because Rita is obviously a very strong base for Betty, and so Betty's come up and she does her salute and comes down and drops, but now to be a completely different side, and Betty had to base, and Allie's never done the other side, so she had to learn and Betty had to learn, and these two in the ring, there's just some magic that happens, even if somebody else doesn't pick it up and you're working it with Allie or you're working it with Betty, the two of them going together, we'll just try. And then you're like, how in the heck did that just happen? It's incredible. They just figure it out together and work. It's beautiful.
That's amazing. Allison, will you tell me about directing episode 7? Like, what was that experience? Did you not have enough going on?
I was bored.
Yeah, fill the time.
Nobody can describe it better than Betty. I would rather just have Betty narrate my whole life. I'm like, yeah.
I think, didn't it start with you really wanting to direct me?
Yes. Yes. Season 1, I was like, how can I get in that guy's brain?
Yeah, that's right.
But during season 1, I sort of put a bee in the bonnet of Liz and Carly, our showrunners, and was like, I would love to direct an episode. It's something that I've been thinking about since I used to work on Community, and you know, that show was always sort of like in turmoil, if anyone knows anything about it. that show is behind the scenes, and there just wasn't the opportunity. And I'm glad, because Glow was the first, I mean, like the perfect first directing experience to have. I like know the show in my bones. I honestly had one conversation with Liz and Carly about it, sort of like, when you guys are ready and you think I'm ready, and like and I will work my ass off and do anything I need to do to prepare. And before, when we got the season 3 pickup, they called me and asked me to direct an episode. I like cried. It was like, I will not let you down. And they were like, we know you. And then I got to shadow some great directors, Claire Scanlon, who directs a bunch of our episodes. I shadowed her on another show, and then again on our first episode of this season. And basically, the great thing about directing an episode of the show you're on is getting to essentially shadow every director that's directing until my episode, and knowing the cast so well, and knowing that they trust me, and knowing all the characters inside and out, and really having the support of everyone involved. Our crew was incredible. It was so fun to get to watch these actors work and just sit back and not be in the scene with them trying to like think as a character. You know, obviously Mark and I have such amazing chemistry that's very real, and so it felt nice to work on those deeper scenes with him.
I trusted you.
He did.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good experience, because I worked with a lot of directors on that one show,
I know.
and it was I liked working with you. I thought it was
Thank
a
you.
great experience.
I thought so too. But more so Betty, my real soulmate on the show. It was a joy to watch the way her brain works, and to have just like a wealth of takes to use. It was really fun and exciting, and to engage with our crew in a different way. Like, we have a kick ask, crew, everyone that works on the set is there because they love the show. They have so much heart and are invested in it, and I just felt very supported, and it was very stimulating. It was just like a different way. I mean, I loved it so much. I hope to do it again in season 4.
Yay!
I have a feeling I will. I think you're gonna.
I think Mark won't be back though.
Right.
Right. He's just
We'll
gonna
see,
show up and
we'll
say
see.
goodbye. And on that note, I think that's all for our panel tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.